You are powerfully welcome again to an English class session at the Way Edu Consult. And we've been considering comprehension as a popular topic in English. And in the last class, we examined the description of comprehension passages and the types of passages you could have. Please, if you don't still get them, make sure you listen to the class session over and over before you come back to this one. Do you get that right? Now, in this class, we want to focus on the quintessential principles for tackling comprehension questions. The quintessential principles for tackling comprehension questions. What are those principles? What are those rules? What are those principles you could follow in order to answer them correctly? We want to take a few of them in this class. And then in the next class, we're going to take the style of those questions, right? Before we now move on to sample passages and how to apply these principles in answering them. Join in with me as we go on. Number one is that you read the passage very well. How do we know that you read the passage very well? You know, some people, they listen to something and then you ask them questions from what they have listened to, but they can't answer the question, right? That is because the attention span is not really strong. The attention span is not really rejuvenated, right? So when you're also reading comprehension passages, pay attention to what we call topic sentence. Topic sentence. You ask me, you don't know what it is? Is it the topic? No, we are not saying the topic of the passage. Even some passages may not even have topic. You are aware of that, right? But we are talking of in a paragraph. There is a sentence in a paragraph known as what? Topic sentence. And that topic sentence is that sentence that carries the main point. It carries the main message in a paragraph. And it may be at the initial, media, or final position in the paragraph. Are we together? More information will be got when you listen to the class session on paragraph and paragraph development. Attention has been given to practical session on differentiating between topic sentence and other types of sentences, which I will not mention right now. And it will interest you to know that when you know how to identify topic sentences very well, your answers are usually incorporated in the topic sentence. Most of your questions, you know, have you seen even questions in the exam before that all the options are in the passage, right? I'll be like, according to the writer, what is this? And option A is in the passage. Option B is in the passage. C is in the passage. D is in the passage, right? Or what about when you want to write comprehension answers in WAEC or NECO examinations? Are we following? How do you answer those ones that you are not even given options? So you are left to yourself, right? Left to yourself to determine the correct answer. So you need the knowledge of topic sentence. But that means after now, if you have not listened to paragraph development, go and listen to all the class sessions under paragraph. Are we together? Now, another thing about two is that the subject matter is usually introduced in the first paragraph. Take note, usually, most of the times, introduced in the first paragraph, the subject matter. What do you mean by the subject matter? You are referring to what the passage is all about, right? This passage focuses on this in a particular country. It focuses on inflation. It focuses on socio-political challenges in a particular country. It focuses on educational status, right? Educational value or any ideology could be expressed in the passage. So from the first paragraph, you could get a glimpse, an idea about that. Are we together? So, and that first paragraph is usually the what? The introductory paragraph. Are we together? And it usually summarizes the whole passage. Do you get that? However, you know, for every rule, there is what? An exception. However, we move to number 3. There are some passages that do not have introduction, where you get a glimpse of what the passage is all about, and where you will not have conclusion. Maybe from the conclusion, you can still see what the passage is all about, to get the overall idea of the passage. And those passages are usually adapted passages. That is, they are taken from a particular excerpt. It may be a newspaper, it may be a longer text or article or story. And then they decide to take part of it and then bring it out that way. And then you are asked to answer questions on them. I believe you are following. Now, how do you now tackle questions on that? Go back to what we said in point number 1, that there is something called topic sentence. Look at each of the sentences in each of the paragraphs. There will be a sentence that will summarize the points in each of the paragraphs. So what do you now do? You now combine all the points raised in each of the paragraphs, that is in total, and then you now look for a word or an expression that summarizes all the points being raised. That will be giving you or pointing your attention to the subject matter, and it will lead you to be able to identify the title of that passage. You know, there are some passage questions that they will ask you to, say the title, right? Say the title. This will help you, and just relax. Even after this one, the next class, we are going deep into each type of question and how to arrive at the correct answer. I believe you are following me. Number 4 is that don't allow all the options to appeal to you. Only one is correct. So there is nothing like this. Well, if it is not correct, nothing like almost correct. If it is almost correct, then it is not correct. So that is what you need to take note. Number 5 is that you can use the WH formula. What do you mean by WH formula? Those are WH items, like who. When you see question on who, what they're asking for, the performer, the receiver of the action, then if it's a human being, rather, and then who is being described, like the person being described in the what? In the passage. That is another one when we refer to as what? WH formula. Another one is what? That is the event. What happened? What happened? What is the real matter? What was done at a particular point in time? What are the ideologies? It could be in terms of ideologies, it could be in terms of perception, it could be about what is being said. Then you have which, that is picking an item, picking a particular object or a particular non-human entity and determining its role in a particular passage. And then when, that is the time of an action. Take note of all these as you are reading the passage. Who did this, to who, about who, on who, right? Then what? Which of the item is responsible or is being utilized or being used at a particular point in time. Those things will guide you to your answers, right? Then when, that is the time. Why? Is there any reason given in the passage? Is there anything pointing your attention to the reason for doing something or the purpose, that is aftermath or the result of something? Why we answer that? For reason, for purpose, and for result. And then how, you also need to take note of how, the manner, how is that thing being done? How is it being achieved? How do you package something? Etc. So in order to get the real answer. So for instance, you can have who set the examination, when was it set, etc. Ignore the comma afterwards. So when was it set? And once you have done that, try to summarize each paragraph in one sentence. Try to what? Summarize each paragraph in one sentence. This will help you to what? To be able to address issues in the questions, and you'll be able to know that this point is superior to others, right? This is not like others. Please, I will encourage you once more to make sure you listen attentively to the class session on paragraph, so that you get all this we are saying, and so that you can connect the points. What we have also discussed here will also be helpful even when you are engaging in summary writing in other examinations. Are we together? Number 7, write down your answers. Before looking at the options, you could write down your answer to that question. When you have done so, you now compare the answer you have taken based on the earlier principles you have considered, and then you now compare it with the options. There will be one option that will be the closest to the what? To the answer, right? And the closest will be your what? Answer. Are we together? One of the options will be the closest to the one you have written down. Then you'll be able to decipher the answer. Are we following? Number 8, note the context at which a particular word is used. There are certain words that have different context of usage. For instance, Lord. Lord. It is not just one context that you can use the word Lord. Lord could refer to a deity, right? Yes, our Lord, the Lord's Prayer. And Lord could mean the judge in a law court, right? And Lord could also mean maybe the husband in the head of the family, that is the husband of a woman, right? In a matrimonial home, right? So what context is it being used? The context will determine the the meaning, and then it will have different usage from the normal usage. Make sure you understand the context. Are we following? Yeah, and then you even have figurative expressions that are being used. Make sure you note whether they are using that word expression in a literal or primary or denotative or dictionary sense. Yeah, ordinary sense in the paragraph, in the passage, or they are using it in a particular figurative or above the normal sense, so that you know how to situate the context and then interpret the word correctly. And then you also need to know that some answers may be inferred, that is, they are not in the passage. They are not in the passage. And a summary of the whole passage and comparison with issues in the society will surely reveal the answer. For instance, if they say someone betrayed his friend, the person now killed his friend, and then the person now married his friend's wife. Now, it could be inferred from the passage that the person is what? You know that person is wicked. Is wicked. That is what we are saying. So the writer did not actually state directly, explicitly, that the person is wicked. But from what the person has done, you know that the person is what? Wicked. That is what we are referring to. There are some questions may be inferred from what? From the passage. That is, the real interpretation would be something outside the passage. But there will be hints, clues from the passage on how to arrive at the correct answer. In this class, we've been able to take some of the principles, quintessential, essential, fundamental for tackling comprehension questions. Don't stop at this. Don't think you have known how to answer comprehension passages yet. So stay relaxed and join me in the next class as we go through the types of questions and how to engage each of the questions. And once we are through, you now practicalize, passages, and then see how we can arrive at the correct answers together. After that, go in peace and go and answer all your questions in exam correctly. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.